Yes, yes, y'all. Welcome again to another episode of Sneaks, Rhymes, and Life. So I have a very special guest today, Karen Leroux. As we know, if you follow her on Instagram or you've seen her in many of our sneaker lineups across the city over several years now. I know things are a little bit different now with an app, but she is one of our most beloved sneakerheads that we have in Toronto. So Karen, welcome to Sneaks, Rhymes, and Life. Thank you so much for joining today. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here and talk sneakers.
So, I know it was not too long ago. I think it was the opening of the Foot Locker Toronto Power Store that we last saw each other. But I know it's been before
Yes.
that. It's been some time. I think the reality of the pandemic and so many other things have definitely weighed in. So I'm really glad that you were able to join the podcast today. So maybe you could share with our guests. I think we have a wide range of guests that love sneakers and hip hop. I know this month is October, although we call it Boktober, as that's why I have an Iverson shirt on right now. But maybe you could share with some of the guests, your sneaker style. How do you define yourself as a sneakerhead?
I think, defining yourself as a sneakerhead is so personal. It means so many different things to so many different people. And it just depends on how you define being a sneakerhead. For me, it's if you base it on quantity, I have that. If you base it on quality, I have that. If you base it on hype, I have those too. If you base it on just having a wide range of brands and styles, I've got that as well. So, I think I'm a pretty deep into the whole sneakerhead culture. And so, which I'm enjoying very much. So I love it. It's helped bring out a part of me that I didn't know was in there.
Okay, so it's really interesting, and then for those watching on YouTube, Sneaks Runs in Life, hit the subscribe button, smash the like button, continue to give us feedback on how we're doing and what's happening. So if you're watching on YouTube, you would see an amazing array of colors and brands and models. And I see Jordan 7, I see Jordan 8, I see Jordan 9, I see 11s, I see obviously ones, I see dunk. So not many people rock with so many different types of Jordans. And I think most people are threes, fours, ones, maybe 11. And then, dunks have obviously been a big thing this year. But what I've noticed on Instagram, what's really unique about your collection is you love other brands, including Adidas and Reebok and some of the other things. So how did you decide that you really loved other brands other than just Nike? Because I know Nike is still the king in the sneaker game.
For sure. Nike is definitely the king in the sneaker game, but you can't discount Adidas and everything that they're doing with their partnerships and their collabs. And, I just like that it's a different silhouette. Like, I know there's this whole debate about checks over stripes, and I don't subscribe to that. If I like
Okay.
a shoe, I want to wear the shoe. And, I like the different materials and colors and stylings that Adidas does with their shoes. And, what I really appreciate is their forms with Seed, which is their design school for women to share their passion and their design and just get it out there to the world, just to help these young individuals, these young women, to break out into the world of design. And I can't help but love that and want to support that fully.
Totally, it's pretty cool that you're being a conscious shopper, because that's not always the case. There's a lot of people that are caught up in hype or what they believe is cool or what they've seen other people wear. So it's great to hear that you're making such a conscious decision in what you're choosing to purchase and to wear. So I see a lot of shoes back there. So the $1 million question. How many shoes do you think is in that collection of yours?
And honestly, this isn't everything. The collection has spread into other rooms as well. So it's
I
taken
love
over
it
my
so.
space.
I love it so.
It's
My wife
taken
doesn't love
over.
it, but I love it so.
It's taken over my space, which I love. I'm not complaining about it. I have a different style set up in my other room where they're more on display, like pieces of artwork. This is more like my rotation of, okay, well, what am I going to wear? This is where I come to pick a shoe. What's out in my other room are the ones that, may have a little more meaning to me. They're just, slightly more different in aesthetic. And, I just put them out for display. So it's just more like artwork.
Gotcha. So is there a number that you can attach to it, or just say ballpark? I don't think people that have a lot of shoes, and I can tell you have a lot, we don't have any idea how many we have. Like no one sits there and counts. It's ballpark.
The last time I did count, because I had to take everything out to assemble the shelves behind me. Ballpark, I think it's around 120, 125-ish, something like that. It's pretty up there. Yeah. And it keeps growing. I can't help it, right? There's so many great drops coming. There's so many great silhouettes, so many great colors. And I have to say, the releases for women coming out have been amazing this year.
It's been an initiative for all the brands that they grow their women's business. So you're seeing more collabs and you're seeing more thought put behind women's footwear, because it's way behind where it should be right now.
It is way behind. And, that's the one thing. And I think a lot of this has to do with a lot of pressure from the female community and, some of the male supporters of the female community being like, no, we need more inclusive sizing. We need more inclusive shoes. We just need to be more inclusive of female sneakerheads. Like, we're not just buying the grade school sizes where the quality is different, the colors are slightly different, the blocking is different. I get, because it's a smaller shoe, but that doesn't mean that, we need to suffer, for lack of a better word, in design and quality.
Yeah, even some of the technology is totally different from a grade school to a men's or women's shoe. So yeah, it's great that it's happening, and we're hopefully we can continue to push the needle. And for those that know me, huge supporter of women's sneaker culture, and I've worn a women's shoe, like, because I've bought women's shoes because I like how they look better than even some of the men's shoes. It's supported for Women's History Month, and I know we're on the verge of Women's History Month here in Canada. I know we did the US version earlier this year, so we'll get into that in a second. So before we kind of move off your collection, maybe you can share with us, what have you been wearing? Like, what I know, I love the Forum that you wore, I think it was last week, but what are some of those shoes that are right now in the rotation? For me, I know I told you it's Boktober, so a lot of Reebok will be worn. Answer fours, Reebok questions. Probably will go into some of my old training shoes, but I love the Reebok question. It's like probably my favorite non-Nike shoe. Period.
It's such a good silhouette. It looks so great on foot. You think it's going to be a brick, but it's not. It looks so good. It's so classic, and it's so reminiscent of the 90s style, right? Yeah. And it's just, you can't say nothing more about the question. Yeah. Like, it's such a good shoe.
Yeah. So what have you been wearing? I'm really curious.
Well, it's interesting because at work I've now been pushing the envelope and wearing sneakers to work. So
yes. And so for those that don't know, Karen is a law clerk. So to get that into a law office is not, if you know anyone that's in the law game, it's not easy. So good on you.
I actually work for a company, so I work with in-house counsel, and it's still it's touchy, and I push the envelope, and I think I think people now are just like, all right, Karen's coming in, let's see what shoes she's got on her foot. Like, I think they're more excited to see what's on my feet than when actually I come in.
Amazing.
So today I actually wore a pair of shoes for the very first time. It was my 13s, my white and green ones. I've had them for so long, and it was just something where I was like, I don't know what to wear with them. And then I just put an outfit together and just thought, this absolutely works. So I wore my 13 green and whites today. Yesterday was a pair of Jordan 1 mids, like an ivory pearlized color. I love like a pearl on a shoe. It just It's great. It's just reflective and it's shiny without being super shiny. And it's not like patent leather where if it gets scuffed, you can easily get it out.
Yeah.
So,
All right. So
yeah.
what else? I know you talked about other
Um,
brands. Is there have you been wearing a lot of Reebok or a lot of Adidas, or has it been a lot of Nike as of late?
It's been a lot of Nike as of right now, but I do have a pair of I did get the Reebok Cardi B's in the
Okay.
burgundy color. So I think I might actually break those out this week.
Yeah. Oh,
I have something in mind.
You have there's an outfit in mind. So again, if you've seen the
There's an
burgundy
outfit in
on
mind.
this Cardi B, the burgundy is rich. That's what
It's
makes the shoe. Sometimes it's not even the shoe. It's the color of the shoe that
the color.
makes it totally different, or totally it's a yay versus a nay. So, all right.
Absolutely.
So I think when you look at your collection and hear your passion for the sneaker culture, I think, you know, what was it in your childhood or in your history or your background that, you know, was it sports? Was it music? Was it all the above? What led to you in this amazing sneaker collection, in this amazing sneaker journey?
Honestly, I think it's my love of fashion that led me to the sneaker world. You know, for the longest time, I was wearing high heels all the time. I was a heel girl, and I would always look at the minor details, the different fabrics, the different materials that were used, even laces. Like there's a brand out there where it's not just a usual lace, that they do something different, they add something different, and it just enhances the shoe. So I believe my love of fashion and heels has led me to the sneaker world, and that, you know, I look at all the details. I love the different fabrics, materials, and textures. The textures is what makes it, I think, honestly.
Okay.
And
Okay.
you know, the ability to change up the laces also, you know, so you can have one pair of shoe, but you change up the laces and you have 3-4 different pairs. Like it's the same shoe, but you have different options to make them slightly different.
Okay. That makes that, it's very interesting that for you it has been fashion. I know so many people get into for so many reasons. Like me, it was sports. I was diehard sports fan. I followed all the athletes, and then athletes started getting shoes other than Jordan, and I just kind of followed along. So
and just followed along.
Yeah, totally makes sense. So we'd love to play this, call it segment on Sneaks Rhymes of Life. It's called Copper Drop. So what I'm going to do is just kind of take you through a couple of the launches that are in the not too distant future, and maybe you tell me from your perspective, would it be a copper drop? So I know that this one has kind of got bumped around like a ping pong ball, but we got a white and navy, you know, as many of the Nike or any drops for that model that the releases are getting moved because of factory or shipping issues. So we got the white and midnight navy, otherwise they're calling championship navy, dunk high. For you, would that be a copper drop?
White and navy. You know, I think I need to see that in person just to see what the navy is like, because I feel like navy could be flat if they don't use the right leather or the right texture.
Yeah.
It's just one of those colors that could easily fade to the back and just not be visible. Okay.
All right, no, that definitely makes sense. So, you know, we look at, you know, from a Jordan perspective, it didn't launch here in Canada as of yet, not in all retailers, but we got a Jordan 5 shattered backboard. So it's all white with like kind of the orange midsole, and still has kind of that tiger plain teeth that are along the side. For you, is that a copper or a drop?
That will probably be a cop. That sounds like a really cool shoe. Yeah.
No,
I know a 5.
You do like the 5, and not everyone does.
I do like the 5s.
I'm a diehard 5. I'm a diehard 5. Like it's not my favorite. 4, and then 3, and then 5, and then 1. So like 1 is like although I probably have more ones than anything else just because of how they've been produced. 5
Yeah.
is like would be my third favorite. So very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good silhouette, and I mean, on foot they look phenomenal. So
Yeah.
I don't quite
Okay.
understand the hate on them, but
Yeah, it is what it is. So I think next up, we do have a it's right around Halloween that it launches. So there's the Jordan 3 Pine Green. So it's black, it's like almost a nubuck, almost suede upper with some green hits below the elephant print. Would that for you, would that be a cop or a drop?
Yeah, no, I would definitely want to cop that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then I'll give you one more. So there's been a lot of love, but actually I think some people, there's been some hate for it as of late because people are frustrated it's going to take so long for it to come out. So we all love the bread or the Band Jordan 1. But there's the patent leather version that's supposed to launch on December 30th.
Yeah.
To me, it is absolutely gorgeous. But for some are so furious that it did not launch in September, don't even want to deal with it anymore. So it's like, I'm just gonna skip it. Totally.
Listen,
totally.
You had me at patent leather. So
okay. All right. So that's a cop for you. Oh, and I think
that's
maybe
definite.
So maybe I won't skip the big shoe of the holiday season. You got to think of Jordan 11s. Every year there's another one. Last year was the Jubilee. We've had Space Jam and Concord and some of the others. So we get the return of the cool gray 11. For you, is that a cop or a drop? Oh, you're making a face. You're making a face. Please tell us why.
I just, gray is so hard. I have a hard time loving grays. I know I have a few gray pairs in my collection, but I just, I think, I'm making a face, but I think it's one of those things where I actually need to see it in person to determine if I like gray's that one color where I need to see it in person, like navy.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Picky one. Yeah. You're getting a pass from me. So, so let's think about, and I know, I've been following you for a while, and I think it's so fascinating that, you've really taken off with your Instagram and just, some great shots. I got to ask who the photographer is, but before we do that, your name of your Instagram is K in Sneakerland. So tell me, where did the name come from?
So my collection had grown to a point where I could do this. I started an Instagram page solely dedicated to my sneakers. And, I was just thinking, and then I just thought Alice in Wonderland. I love the story.
Okay.
It's about self-discovery. There's some strife, there's challenges, there's so many things about it. And, and then K is, of course, the first letter of my name, Karen. So I just took a riff off of Alice in Wonderland and put K in Sneakerland because this is a journey that I decided to take. And, I've discovered so much about myself while being on this journey. So that's the story.
I like it. That's one of the more thoughtful Instagram handles that I've heard in some time. I know some people ask me, so where did Sneaks, Rhymes, and Life come from? And I think my passion for sneakers and obviously my passion for hip hop kind of came together, and I think then I borrowed it from Tribe Called Quest, who their album number 4 was Sneaks Rhymes. It was Beats, Rhymes, and Life. So I just changed it to Sneakers, and here we are. So I think it kind of captured what I was trying to do or where I was at the time that I started it. But I love the name of your Instagram handle. So who takes the pictures? You got a tripod happening, or how does it work? You got to share.
So sometimes I have, a tripod or some kind of thing that I carry with me to help take pictures, but I do sometimes have a friend that will come with me and he will help set up the shots and take pictures. And then, so let's face it, it's easier to take pictures with someone else than it is trying to do it on your own.
Yeah. And then when you take, so this is a whole nother question that I will get into.
Yeah.
So do you feel like awkward when you're out there, you're in nature, you're up against the wall and you're like posing with your shoes? Do you feel awkward when the average passerby just kind of walks by? I'll tell you, like, no word of a lie, I do. Like, totally I do, but I just do it anyways.
It definitely, there is a moment of, oh, what am I doing? This must look absolutely ridiculous. But at the same time, the payout is so worth the awkwardness, and just trying to block out what's going on around you and who's walking by. And sometimes they stop by and they comment on what you're doing, and they comment on your shoes, and they're just like, hey, that's really cool. Which I think is great. You know, it's just appreciation for what's happening. And I kind of dig that. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I tell myself they totally don't get it. It doesn't matter. It's not for them. So I just keep it moving.
I just keep on going. Exactly. They do not get it. They do not understand. And I mean, when you walk down Graffiti Alley, just off of Queen, you know, there's so many people there taking pictures, and you just see the groups. And so I'm just like, I'm one of those. I'm one of those people. Totally.
Yeah. That's one of the great places to take pictures of any type. And if you're a fashion lover, I'm sure many people have taken pictures in that alleyway. So
a lot of people have taken pictures.
Yeah. So again, I mentioned earlier, we were kind of talking about, you know, women's sneakers and women's silhouettes. So in Canada, it is Women's History Month, and it's not going to probably get the same amount of press or pub that the big movement in the US happened in March. You know, I think with International Women's Day kind of being in the same month, it kind of just has a little bit more to it. But I haven't seen personally much on social media at all about it. But the fact is that it is that month. So if we kind of think about, you know, sneakers and, you know, women that are lovers of sneakers, like, you know, what do you think the impact of, you know, celebrating like months like October and March are to the culture of women sneakerheads? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the female sneaker culture already is very supportive and uplifting, and, you know, everyone is cheerleading everybody, which is really lovely and really nice. You know, I will say that before getting into the sneaker culture, I found it very intimidating, and I found it very scary, because I was looking through this peephole of, you know, this world that was male dominated, and these individuals were talking with such authority and such judgment and such, you know, if you weren't wearing these, then you're not really a sneaker, like you're not a sneakerhead. If you're not wearing these, then you're not. It was just so intimidating. And then joining the female community, it's just, and that's exactly what it is. It feels like a community where everybody is supporting and uplifting and sharing and commenting and liking. It's just wonderful. And it just made me feel even more welcome and like a legitimate sneaker collector.
Yeah.
And I think that
I would agree.
You know, and I think that, you know, when you look at the female side, you know, women are appreciating the shoe and the sneaker and the technology and everything. When you look at the male side, it's very much, you know, grandstanding. There's a lot of competition. There's a lot of, you know, aggressiveness in that world that I've noticed and I've seen. And I just try to wade very gently and carefully if I try to go that way. But I do find in the female community, it's very community oriented, which I appreciate. And it just makes everyone feel more welcome and, you know, less scary to get into the game and to show what you have.
Yeah. I would definitely agree, and again, it's great that you were able to share all that. If you think now, and we kind of were touching on it a little bit earlier, we
Mhm,
talk about silhouettes and the
mhm.
quality and some of the things like again where there you can see that the brands and those that sell sneakers are really making a conscious effort to give a better space or a better
Yeah.
assortment and variety to the female consumer. But what do you think more needs to change to make just the experience of shopping? Again, a male like myself doesn't understand it nearly as well as someone that is actually a woman or
Yeah.
identifies as a woman.
Yeah.
What needs to change or elevate to continue to make things better for yourself and other shoppers like you?
Well, I think definitely more education for, even just getting down to a retail level, education on the woman's foot, right? I mean, it's more slender, it's not as wide. Um, there's that. I think also making, um, sorry,
That's okay.
I just lost my train of
No,
thought
no
here.
problem. No problem. So you were talking about,
Um,
just the fit of the woman's foot. What other
yeah.
thoughts did you have?
Other thoughts I had, for example, just to divert a little bit, talk about Melody Asani and her Jordan OGs. That
Yeah.
shoe was specifically designed for a woman, and I have a couple of pairs and I love them. I have the coconut milk ones with the orange, and then I have the mint lime ones, I think they're called, or the
Yeah.
lime ice, I think. It's a beautiful shoe. It's a beautiful silhouette. Like the texture is so, it's luxurious. I mean, I
Yep.
don't know what else to say about it, but it's luxurious. And I think that more thought needs to go into the design of a shoe towards a woman. And it's not just on the aesthetics, but it's comfort level as well. Making sure that it fits properly to the woman's foot. And I think that retailers and brands just need to maybe study the foot a little bit more and to study the women's style a little better and a little more, just to make a better impact and a bigger impact, to open up the world a little bit more for women who are in this world, and those who want to join and start their collection, because
Yeah.
maybe they were like me where I didn't know where to start, I didn't know what to do. And so, if they make it a little more open and have somewhere like an entryway for
Yeah.
someone.
No, I think
um
you're really onto something. I think the more knowledge and understanding, whether it's the brands or those that sell the shoes, I think you can make
yeah,
better decisions. You can create better experiences, and
yeah,
ultimately, you can grow the brand, and other than just making the footwear or whatever. So I think you're
yeah,
definitely onto something. So you mentioned Melanie Asani, and I think she's probably one, if not the one of the most inspirational people that we have. And for her to partner with, call it, I
oh,
wouldn't say the champion of all brands, but one of the most sought after brands in brand Jordan, and really to be able
yeah,
to go out there and create a collection. She follows in the lines of many others that are now started to collaborate. We've had multiple different collaborations now at the Jordan brand level, which is so great
mhm.
to see. Is there certain people within, call it, sneaker culture that really inspire you, and in terms of what they're doing, and or how they've been able to collaborate with some of the big brands? I know you mentioned Melody, but is there anyone else?
Maybe not to like not to the degree of partnering with Jordan brand, but I have to say the ladies over at Sneaker Sisterhood in the UK, they are phenomenal women, absolutely phenomenal. They reach out to community, they try to uplift and support as much as they can for their female community. And I do appreciate that it's not just women, there are men in there who are also just as supportive, which is wonderful. I mean, I think if you can if men take more time to educate and learn about female sneaker culture, I think the world would be a better place. I'm sorry, but it would
No,
be.
don't, there's no need to be sorry. That's a valid point. So I think you're really onto something. So you mentioned some of those that are, in sneaker culture. Is there anyone, we're talking about Women's History Month. Is there anyone
Yeah.
outside the sneaker world that, really inspires you?
That's a great question. Honestly, I feel like it's any woman who is supportive of other women, and I mean that, and I truly do mean that, and it's stems from women in high profile roles, women who are leading companies, who are championing charities to just help betterment the world, and help women who want to better their lives, honestly.
Yeah, I think that is a great overarching statement right now. So because it is really challenging, I think, as we go through the pandemic, and we'll get to the pandemic question in terms of sneaker shopping in a second, because that's a whole new world that sneakerheads alike, whether you work in retail, you don't work in retail,
Right.
you're trying to buy things overseas, or you're trying to hit the Foot Locker app or the sneakers app. It's not easy. It's
not easy.
a lot more demand, and not
Yes.
nearly enough supply as in days past. But you make some valid points on sneaker culture, and I think brands all over, I think, are being far more cognizant of what is the impact with their sneaker culture on the women's side, and how do they make a difference. I think that is how they, whether it's in the community, or it's with what they carry, or really listening to the customer on what they need, now and in the future. I think the more ears we can have towards that part of the business, I think overall it's going to make sneaker culture just that much better. Because I think being inclusive and having women a part of it is only makes things better. So let's talk about the dreaded 3-letter word, and that is called a bot. BOT.
Yes.
So
BOT.
It is crazy these days. We've been in the pandemic, approaching 20 months now, and we're still wearing masks, and we're still out having to social distance and sanitize the living daylights out of your hands. But and we're not going to get into a vaccine conversation right now, but
no,
out there is hard getting sneakers. Like, however you slice it, whether you used to line up, whether you used to write your name on a sweepstakes and come into a store, or do it online, it's hard. So how's the experience been for you, and how are you finding ways to get the sneakers that you love?
Well, I mean, I will say that it's been frustrating. It's been disappointing. But on the other end, it's made me appreciate my collection that much more. And that, I still get up at ungodly hours to see if I can cop a drop, that's, I think Reebok, their drop hour is, I think, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. It's insane. It's crazy. And I've done it.
Yeah.
Set the alarm, set that alarm so I can get up and see if I can get a shoe. Nike is 6 a.m., which is not fabulous, but it's better than 1 a.m. Foot Locker is 10 a.m. And, it's just, I've done it. I've been disappointed. But yet at the same time, I'll go online a couple weeks later and then find that same shoe at a different retailer and be able to get it.
Okay, so at least you're finding some wins, because you talk to some people in the streets, or you talk to some people online, and they've called it L season for the last 20 months. So
Absolutely. It has been the L season. You know, my last experience with that was the Starfish 4s. So they dropped online, sold out instantly. Thank you, bots. Thank you, resellers. 2 weeks later, found them somewhere else. They had my size and I had to get them.
Okay. So you're getting some wins. That's encouraging. And I know all these brands are working on their technology to bot protect and do all these things. But in the interim, you know, there's going to be great stuff that comes out, and how you're going to figure out how you're going to get them, I think is the question. So if you think about, you know, and not even just recently, but just call it overall and in general, think about, you know, you've gone to a store and you look at a shoe and, oh, I kind of like it. You look at it, maybe you try it on and, oh, it's so good. But then you end up walking away. Like, money is not the issue, but you just decide not to buy it, or you're between two shoes. And then the second you leave, or you're sitting at home, you know, a week later and that shoe kind of pops in, or it pops up on your Instagram and you didn't buy it. So like, you know, what's that shoe out there that's like the ultimate regret? You had a chance to buy it and you just didn't pull the trigger.
Honestly, I can't think of a shoe that's happened to me like that. It's if I'm in a store and it's in my hand and I'm just like the anxiousness and the excitement of, do they have my size, as the retail salesperson is checking to see if you have my size, and it's like, oh, please, best be known, if they have my size, I'm getting that shoe. I am not putting it down and walking away.
Okay.
I usually have an idea as to what I'm looking for when I go in. I usually do. The last time I went to a store, I didn't really have an idea, and I walked out with 3 pairs. One pair was one that I didn't think I would ever get, which were the Rust Pink 3s.
Okay.
The other pair was the Lime Ice, the Melody Asani OG Lime Ice. That happened to be this is a cool shoe. I have 1 pair already. I want to get another pair. And then the third pair were a pair of Jordan 1 mids, and they have the furry liner and laces. So I had to get them because there's fur on them.
And laces. Totally get it. Totally get it. So went in for nothing, came out with 3. So you clearly went to my co-op class, and the only lesson that you were ever taught was rule 1, and the only thing you need to take away is see it, like it, buy it. That's it. Exactly. That's it. If you see it, like it, buy it. Like, you can't live in the world of regret. If you see the shoe and you like the shoe, then you shall buy the shoe and
exactly
figure out after.
I did try on a pair of Dunks that same day, and I do own a couple pairs. I'm just not on the Dunk bandwagon. I may get crucified for saying that.
No, really I don't think you get crucified. People would go, oh, she doesn't like Dunks. Why? Now we all know it's the hype shoe this year. It is. It first came out in '85, so you know we have rounded the corner now, and it's 35 years old. That's why actually last year, but the pandemic messed everything up. The Dunk was supposed to be the shoe last year, and things got pushed out and rethought about. But this is why now the Dunk, because the shoes were so far limited last year, so there was only certain drops. Like, you're getting that sneaker boutiques, or you couldn't get any major retail stores. But then that things have gotten better, a lot of those shoes have now spilled into this year, and you already can see that. Now the momentum, they built a ton of hype in 2020. Yes. There's been more releases, but still not a lot of quantity. Right. I've foreseen that Dunks will continue for the next foreseeable future. And it's very cyclical. Again, the second that, these Dunk / Air Force One looking shoes kind of way are not in the popular thought, some technology will come along. Nike Free will, be the 30th anniversary of Nike Free before we know it. And all of a sudden we'll be back on lightweight shoes again. And no one will want a cup sole shoe. And if that's the case, then Jordans will still be around, but maybe Jordan 1 won't be the big shoe. And then if Jordan 1's not a shoe, Dunks and Air Force, which are kind of, call it, cousins of the Jordan 1. And those, they just won't be shoes that people will be interested. Same thing with the Blazer. Blazer became, it's a different silhouette, but it's all along
great
this
silhouette.
It's still, to me, it's of recent time, is the most underrated shoe that they've brought back out in the market.
Absolutely. I agree with you on that 100%. It is underrated and it doesn't get the justice and service that it deserves. Like it really they need to do more with that shoe.
And I think, we talked about rich colors and some of the other things. I think that is something that's on the horizon. I think they really took the black and white and then the white and black, that was kind of the staple. And you can see that they're branching out with other things other than just white with another colorway. I think you're seeing materials and you'll see more suedes, and I saw a corduroy one not too long ago. So I think they're really going to expand the horizon. And I'm really glad that although it was, an 80s basketball shoe, it's really the female consumer that's probably embraced the shoe far more than men have. I think men wanted the OG colors, and then women want all of the cool colors. So I think it's gonna be something that sticks around for the next little while.
I think so. It's like, give us the colors, give us the materials, give us the textures, give us the details, give us it all. Like we want it all.
Yep. All right. So as we're kind of wrapping up, I think the fans that love sneakers always love to hear a story that you may have gone on extent to find a certain shoe. I still remember I took a trip to Detroit. I remember waking up at being in where was I, on Chicago on a work trip that I'd won a contest for, and oh my gosh, the Olympic 6 is gonna launch in like 2 hours. I should go line up now. And I did, and I was at a club the night before and no sleep, leaning against this Nike wall in the middle in Chicago, and thank God it was on the north side, because we know the south side can be a little tough. But was able to secure the shoe. I still think I have this shoe, the shoe and the picture of me with no sleep, and this in 2008, some oversized Jordan shirt that was probably a 2X or a 3X, but those were the days. So
those are the days.
Maybe you could share a story for us as we wrap up.
Yeah, absolutely. The one story that I think means the most to me for now, I guess it was last year. A Jordan 1 was dropping on my birthday. And given how, and it was like, I always treat myself, I treat myself all year round, but because it was my birthday, I needed to have these shoes as a birthday gift to myself. And so they were dropping on my actual birthday, and I didn't know, I actually lost sight of when they were dropping here in Canada. And I don't think they dropped on my birthday here in Canada, but in the States they did. And so I reached out to a friend of mine in the States through Instagram. And I think some of your listeners might know her. Her Instagram handle is Rican Power Girl. Her name's Nicole. She owns Soul Wash and Footage Society, so sneaker cleaning stores, which are, and I love her. She's amazing. She's a champion. She does so much for her community. Anyhow, I reached out to her. She put me in contact with her business partner, and they secured the shoe for me.
Wow.
And so they sent it to me.
That's sneaker love right there.
Right? It totally is. And so I had mentioned to the business partner that the shoe meant so much to me because it dropped on my actual birthday and I was getting it as a present for myself. And so they include a little note when they ship the shoe to me, just wishing me a happy birthday. And it just means a lot. So the shoe that I managed to secure was the Letterman.
Oh, okay. So those are some good people for them to do that. But I think,
Absolutely.
What makes the stories is the personal touch, like for them to ship it
Absolutely.
and then to put a personal note in there and to wish you happy
Absolutely.
birthday.
Yeah,
Good on them. I'll have to
absolutely.
definitely look for them on Instagram and check them out. I think you've posted about them before, so
Yeah.
um, so I'll definitely have to go back. So again, Karen, really appreciate your time. This has been obviously a lot of fun. We'll have to do it again.
Yes,
I'm getting you
please.
to commit. You're gonna have to share it on your social channels, and
I will share this. Absolutely.
we'll do all of those good things. But how do the listeners today find you on Instagram? I know you mentioned your Instagram handle, but you can just give it to us one more time, though they can check you
Sure.
out and
So
see
you,
some of the great pictures that you've taken with your sneakers. I think there's definitely an aesthetic to it, which I definitely
there
like.
is.
So
There is definitely an aesthetic to it, and there's definitely a style to them. So you can find me on Instagram at KAY in Sneakerland. So it's KAYNSNKRLAND.
yeah, you cut the vowels out, so it's not an easy spell. So
No, it's not. I have to think about it once in a while. It's like, I
all
think that's
right.
how I spell
All right.
it.
So again, Karen, thank you so much. A lot of fun.
Thank you.
Really
This was
sharing
so
your
much fun.
story. So I definitely have to connect in the near future and do it again. So for that, thank you,
Absolutely.
listeners, for listening for another very fun and engaging episode of Sneaks Rhymes in Life. Everyone, take care, be safe out there, and we'll talk to you on the next episode.